Hi. Okay. Whew. Oh, I'm recording.
How are you doing? All good?
Yep. We've done
I can't hear.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Or
Okay.
should I like connect and speak? Just tell me if this works better for you.
Yeah, no, I was connected to the Bluetooth. It's fine now. I got it. I can hear you.
Yeah. Does this work better?
No,
Hearing?
even before it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay. Cool. Then I don't need
We'll
this.
wait for them to join and just come.
Yep.
Ma'am, do you have anything to present?
What's Vedant doing? You've locked him up?
I've locked myself up
That's the other way around.
and left the house to him, so that's like better. But of course, I have somebody to babysit him. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of work for me when I go out.
I know.
Hi,
Madhuri, is
Harish.
it? Hi.
I'm just joining. I'm just here. I'll just be. Thank you for that, Sharon. The next question is: do you think traditional materials like clay and wood can mimic or
Hmm.
Hi, Harish. Hi, Megha.
Hi.
Yeah. I had to invite you to meet you guys, huh?
Yeah.
Hi, Harish.
Hi, Karan. How are you?
Good,
Good.
good.
Very good. Super. I didn't see the presentation, but course, I will get to see it now. We'll see. It'll be an open rant as it goes. We'll also discuss, probably touch upon. If one of you guys can would want to sum it up, that'll also be good. In terms of the closing stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
And Harish,
Mhm.
we have a slideshow
Mhm.
so that we talk with that. So should we be running it or will you be running it?
You run it. That's the best thing to do.
Okay, so I'll just keep that ready.
Yeah. You want to share screen and see if things are fine?
Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah, and that's
Yes. Just the sharing of the screen, right? So I guess it should be fine.
yeah. That's for a test run.
Just a moment. I'll just try to share the screen.
And peep in and out.
I know.
Share the screen, right? So can you see it, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So stop the share.
So what's happening? What's news in Coorg? You're in Coorg?
Yeah.
Okay. What's
No
news
news.
over there? How's you there throughout the lockdown?
Yeah. It's been a year now.
Yeah, no?
Wow.
Yeah, March, right? March.
Okay.
March.
Yeah,
Yeah.
since March I'm here. So I've vacated my place in Bangalore. So yeah, everything is virtual these days. So it's a
Yeah.
good thing and a bad thing also. So balance is missing.
How long has it been for you, Madhuri, at your place that you shifted to
Hyderabad or village?
village?
Village, it's been more than 6 months that we have shifted to village. And recently we moved back to Hyderabad for
Okay.
Pradeep's office. But now back to village. It's been a week that I'm back in village. So mostly I'm in village only most of the time.
Nice.
Thanks to pandemic, I should say.
Quite peaceful, huh?
Yeah, very, very. You might hear some rooster background sounds or some. So I'll be on mute most of the time when I yeah. Just,
Harish sir, does anyone else who wants? Sorry. Does anyone else who has anything to present?
No.
No, right?
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I'm Anita and I'll be hosting the event today before Harish takes over for the moderation.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's Anita. Anita is an associate professor with the School of Fashion.
glad to know. Hi, Anita.
Hi. Hello. So Harish, are you guys okay to go live?
Yes.
We still have like 3 minutes.
What do you guys want to do? We'll wait 3 minutes.
Yeah, we have 4 minutes actually.
Let the audience wait, no? What?
Yeah,
So how
wait
is
it out, no?
How is Arya, Johan?
Oh, they're good. I haven't really told them, but they know the event is happening and stuff. He knows, you're getting friends and stuff to
Okay.
talk. But otherwise, they're okay. They're in Chennai. So
Okay.
I'm good for now. Yeah.
So Johan and Vedant were together in Pathshala.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Sorry. Okay. He should know. That he's quite active that way. Right.
But now we've changed schools, of course.
Where does Vedant go now?
Adyar Theosophical Academy. So the Theosophical Society has started an ICSE school
Oh, okay.
on their
In the
campus.
In the same place that KFI used to be?
It's
Oh,
on the Theosophical Academy campus, so which
okay.
was a publication house earlier, which they've now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The irony is, Arya joined KFI, and she never got to go to school at all. It's going to be a year now. She's gone to campus probably with Johan, seen all of those places, but after she got admitted, there's not been one class that she's gone to the school at all.
Yeah.
This year, in a month's time. Has it opened for Vedant?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, if they start going, then I think they'll become a little more saner.
Of course, obviously, no matter whatever virtual, I mean, there needs to be a balance, and this is like a massive imbalance where they just don't get to meet and play with children physically,
The first 6 months was horrible.
Yes.
They couldn't go out. They didn't know why they were at home.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
I guess it's slowly getting back to normal, so there is hope.
I'm really hoping like June they start school and like at least the next academic year.
No, not June or March end or April. No, June is far.
There will be summer holidays, and I am like, okay.
Sorry, guys. We have 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Yeah.
I think.
So I introduce all of you guys, and then after the presentation, correct?
No, we've made like a combined presentation. The three of us together have made like one presentation and
Fair.
talking.
Yeah, so we will discuss our POVs over that. So since we are all having a common presentation, so I think there is no sequence as such who will be talking, but we'll be talking. We'll be adding to each other, I believe. So
fair enough. We'll figure it out. Good to go.
Yes.
I'll give you a thumbs up.
Okay.
Hello and welcome everyone to this panel discussion titled Toy, a Bridging Tool in Parenting. The panelists will explore the toy play from the parent's perspective and how toys act as a bridging tool in parenting. Children learn by playing, and toys are the instruments that allow them to discover the world they live in. The panel will focus on the factors that influence parents' toy purchases. It will further explore how toys enhance the betterment of abilities and skills to improve children's communication with their parents, and growing the sense of accountability and increasing the perception of happiness. The first panelist is Megha Lakhania, a graduate from the National Institute of Design and an award-winning independent filmmaker. Our next panelist is Madhuri KV, the design head at the startup Flinto Learning Solutions and an experienced design consultant at Infosys. She is an alumnus of the toy and game design from National Institute of Design. Our next panelist is Karan Tamaya, again an alumnus of the National Institute of Design and the chief design consultant at his firm, Two People Company, specializing in branding, strategy, and digital production design. The panel is moderated by my colleague, Mr. Hariesh Sankaran, Associate Director and Head of Design of the Interior and Furniture Design at the United World Institute of Design in Gandhinagar. Over to you, Hariesh.
Hi, thanks for the introduction, Janita. It's a pleasure. All of them are friends. We've worked earlier. We've had several chats on parenting earlier, so I thought it would be a very interesting panel to put together and share ideas on a forum where toys have been discussed, but not necessarily toys in terms of from the view of a parent and how that revolves, how that narrative actually revolves in a kid's life. So that's the sense of the panel itself. Okay. Before that, I think it's important that we can understand our kids. I'm the parent of Arya, who's 8 years, and Johan, who's 5 years old. They've got a background in Montessori education, and right now they've gone into a school which focuses on Krishnamurti's philosophies. And so there's a lot more of play that happens. And mixed age group education that happens. Megha, on the other hand, has a son is Vedant, and he's also on a very similar path right now. He's into in the Montessori. He was in the Montessori system earlier, and now he's with the Theosophical um, philosophy of Theosophy, I believe.
Okay.
Okay, so that's Vedant for you and his mom. And then there is, I'd like to introduce Tanish, a wonderful little chap, and his mom, Madhuri. Uh, so she will probably talk a little about her son, and his, experiences with the toys as well. And of course, she's got a vast experience in terms of designing educational toys for kids. So she'll touch upon a lot of those as well. Karan has been working with kids toys, and I would really want him to touch upon areas as a designer looking at designers who are parents. So that's the angle that I would perspective that I would want him to take up as well. So there's a combined presentation. We'll start with the presentation, and then we'll as a slides roll, we start with the discussions as well.
Thank you, Harish. That was a very apt introduction, I believe. And so I'm going to open. We made a collective presentation, as you just said. So I'm going to share it before. I think that will be. We have some curated photographs that will be relevant for this discussion, and I'm going to share the screen right now. I guess everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I would want Madhuri to start. So we have divided it, this presentation into a few sections where we are talking about the parents' perspective, then what can be toys and non-toys, and what should the parents consider, and what should we as designers take care of when we design for kids. And so let's begin with this parents' perspective. Madhuri, so.
So that's Madhuri and Tanish, Karan and your...
My niece, that's my niece, so, yeah.
And Megha and Vedant.
Yeah. Madhuri, I can't hear you.
I think she's mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was connected. Yeah, when we, sorry about it. Yeah. When we talk about toys, and being a designer is one dimension, and when we talk about toys in context to being a parent, the dimension completely changes. And the way we evolve as a designer, like design is about questioning the obvious. So we start questioning our own thought processes, like the way I was when I was a toy and game design student to what I was when I was in the like when I was practicing things in the industry to when I have a child of my own. So the dimension completely varies because you see different dimensions being a parent. That's actually evolving me as a designer and also as a parent. And every day is a new learning. I see it that way. And in general, adults' interaction with toy and play materials is something when they involve themselves, the perspective completely changes. So we'll take you through the journey. And
Yeah.
Megha, you want to add something?
So yeah, with me it was yes, I did study filmmaking and communication design and all of it. But after becoming a parent, there would be a lot of toys which would attract me, and I would think that okay, this will be like the perfect toy for my child, and blah blah blah. and it not more than 5 minutes, and he wouldn't even want it. And I'm like, how did this happen? I mean, where did I go wrong? I think it's such a fabulous toy. And then over the time I started realizing, okay, where things are going wrong by just observing my child and seeing that, there are these some toys which are like bang on, which are like, it's been like 3 years and he still plays with those toys with the same amount of love and affection how he used to play when he saw it first. And all of that. So there's this next slide which I would like to explain what happened. And where then it was an eye opener. So I got
about this.
there's this particular toy brand, and my son for 6 months had the catalog of it, and he would sit for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and keep looking at the catalog and all of it. And so my husband and I, we thought, okay, let's see how interested he is, and then we'll pick it up. So we gave it 6 months, and then we're like, okay, yeah, I think this is the toy we should buy for him. And after we got it and we set it up, like what you're seeing in this picture, for him it was over. He's like, okay, we got it, we set it up, finish, khatam. I'm done with this toy. And we're like, what? And so that's when we realized that it's he was attached to the catalog, but it's not, there is a gap, and we need to figure out.
Megha, what is exactly this toy about? I mean,
it's a farm thing, and it's a petting zoo and all of it. But so he was very excited when I got it, and we put it together. But it was like, doing that puzzle once, and okay, it's finished. And he was like busy playing with some clay in his hand after like all this was still.
I think Megha, it could be also because of he being disconnected with this environment which is created.
Yeah, like, I was about to say the same.
You're right.
Because he's not.
Sometimes, yeah.
So I think maybe the catalog was more interesting for him because it was more colorful.
Exactly.
Probably had different facets of the same toy. And while he gets to see it over here, and the excitement is gone, maybe something like that. So I feel, yeah, maybe there's a disconnect in what the farm he has seen so far.
He hasn't. That's also one.
He hasn't. Okay.
He hasn't
exactly. Like when I look at this toy, maybe Tanish, who is experienced with this kind of environment, might enjoy it more, maybe. So the demography and those things play a major role also in connection to toys. So this is a very good example, Megha.
And then, yeah, the next one.
I think here we are talking about, the day-to-day objects, let's say the furniture or anything else that you see in the house. So these objects taking the form of toys. So I think, Megha, you can explain this picture. This is with your kid.
The image on the left, no? So what Vedant did is he put all these chairs together, and he tried to recreate his grandfather's home. And each direction of the chair is like each room, and the parking for the car, and then on top he put cushions, which is according to him the solar panels which his grandfather has. And he could connect with that whole space so much. For him it was like recreating his grandfather's home, and he was like playing with it for so long. I mean, that space, going under it, over it, and then trying to change it, and all of it, which was like much more to him compared to the toy I got him, which I thought would be more. So that's where I realized, okay, there's a gap where I need to educate myself more. And yeah, Madhuri will definitely have answers to all that.
Yeah, you're right. I realized Arya and Johan also get under table. Table is a huge, but they spread out the bed sheets. Go under
the children's one of their favorite interior spaces. Staying under the table.
I think it also because since they are shorter, they're not tall, so it gives them a sense of space it gives them a belonging, and most
Very
of the
true.
toys we give is all scaled down. It's handheld mostly. So I think this gives them a sense of achievement. I believe they're doing more
Yes,
adult
Karan.
kind of
Yeah.
feeling they would get.
Yes, and another thing I would like to add is adults cannot go under the table that comfortably. That also makes
Yes,
them
yes.
feel happy about, like, they can do it and adults can't do it. So they really like that aspect. And other thing, adding to that spaces, like here you see the image on the right, it was in the village, like that trip of ours to the village with Tanish. We didn't take any like not many toys, except a few of them. We didn't take much toys, and he had to play with the limited material he had. And then in that time, while playing with his friends, came up with this idea of uh, changing the cots into walls, which were there lying on the uh, outdoors, and the mattress, which as per our adult perspective should be on top of the cot, became it is actually on top of two cots, and this became a very cozy space. Initially, they made it like a relaxing zone, and later it also became a grocery store where they started trading materials which were inside the house. So they bought the entire house into their space. So it engaged them for almost half a day, and
Oh,
this was completely open-ended, and yeah, they had a lot of fun.
yeah, I think these regular objects, they bring that open-endedness, and I think imagination. I mean, there's no limit for the imagination. So, and you can't really predict like how long will they be engaged with
True.
such kind of objects. And I think
Very.
this is also an interesting example we were discussing with Megha.
This was
Uh,
one of
yeah,
the
you can.
lockdown stories, where they are like inside the home. So what they did is, what they imagined is the bed and the shelf below, which has all the blankets, was their swimming pool. So they would dive from the bed into that and then keep throwing bed sheets at each other, like as if they're splashing water. And for like at least 1.5 hours every day, with the same amount of excitement, they could play.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting because they understand the texture of water. They're comparing it with a fabric and trying to create waves, and it's a lot of imagination. I think.
I think that's also part of their narrative and the company that they have. No, they build that narrative with that person,
Yeah.
and then they say, "Oh, this is what this is. This is the role play that we're doing." Yeah.
Yep.
True.
This was their swimming pool during lockdown.
And I have noticed, the utensils at home, these are like one of the first objects I think they get really attracted to, because for the parents, cooking is a chore, or you're doing anything that's a work, it's an activity. And, for instance, the utensils, they are multisensory in nature, in the sense you can make sound out of it. You touch it, you also build your grip, and you can use it in different ways. And let's say these plates and all, they would try to imitate probably a steering wheel, or many things,
Yeah.
whatever they observe, they cross observe from different adult activities what they see. So I
Yes.
think so this the multisensoriness, and some of them insist that, okay, I want to cook or cut vegetables, or they just want to help the parents or just be part of it. There's a more sense of achievement there. I think it's similar on the right
Yes.
side. I
And
think Anish
sometimes,
is trying
Karan,
to.
adding to that,
Yeah.
sometimes children also like to create music, like banging vessels.
Yes,
Like
yes.
adults get irritated, and but for them it is they're exploring that material sounds.
Also getting the
The
attention, right? So
Yes, grabbing attention, absolutely. And hitting the spoon on the plate would make a different sound to hitting it on a bowl, a smaller bowl to a bigger bowl. So that kind of things really excite them on a multi-sensory perspective. And here, adding to the cooking and imitating adults and want to do things on their own. Here, this image on the right, Tanish wanted to make the banana cake that day all by himself. I will only instruct him, but he wants to do everything on his own. And he wanted to handle all materials I would handle, like he wanted to use the glass bowls independently. So being a parent, one has to be little like we need to allow children to handle things. Like we should be okay even if the child breaks a bowl. Like that attitude. So slowly they will get that sense of belonging and that responsibility when we actually give them the responsibility. And to my surprise, he actually uh, helped in every stage of the cake, not just making but also eating every stage of the cake, and finally we could really bake one nice banana cake. So this was a amazing experience, and the way he felt that he created it, and he had that sense of pride in showcasing that to all the family members and making them eat the cake. So those kind of small little experiences really encourage the child's confidence and
So I think before, when like designers are working on coming up with a toy or something, these are the aspects which I don't know. Madhuri would of course know it better, but they should listen and read about more and more stories like this, and then come up with toys which will help the children to connect much more.
Yeah. So we talked about toys and non-toys. I think this is one example where where the space, the non-toy, the furniture, that is the furniture, and the toy, the rail, the so how these three things interact, and Madhuri, you can
yeah,
say something.
like here, thanks, Carrie. So here the image you see, Tanish, this was his sixth birthday present. We got him a Lego train set, and we thought he will be happy with that. It had everything, like the bridges, everything. But in spite of all that, he still wanted a taller bridge under which the train track would go. So he started using the furniture, and this dining table chair became the elevated surface, and the mat became a space for putting these batteries. Like in spite of having this Lego set, he wanted the batteries to be the cargo which will be put on the train bogies. So the way they connect, like the way the connect happens with non-toys and toys, was something very interesting about this image. So I felt it can be a good thing to share here.
This is Vedant's toy, the rocking horse, which he used it as just the day before we had installed like a aquaguard at home, and he saw the whole installation process and all of it. And the next day he's like, turned this around, and Amma, this is my aquaguard, and then I'm going to be filling water in all of it, and then putting it in a bottle and all of it, so they so much want to imitate us. But again, pret and play toys, what happens is they're again they're just in terms of, like, they're just toys. I think they need to start making pret and play much more real.
That's a very good point. That's something that I wanted to touch upon as well, where it becomes very typical in terms of creating a character or so, with which you actually play with, but it's never real in terms of how you do print and play itself. I think print and play works a lot better when they actually have your friends along, and
Yes.
they can,
Yeah.
rather than work, doing that with any doll or so.
And
Yeah, I think
Harish, I would like to add one more point. The image you see here is intentionally
I understand.
rotated to the adult's view. Yes, because this is how we want the rocking horse to be. But for a child, the perspective could completely be different. So, being a parent, we should be open to changing our perspectives. Like everything is
I mean,
possible in
the
their
fact
world.
that he's made sure that this horse is stable, although he knows that it's a rocking horse. So, and
Yes.
he's used it to his advantage with all the three vessels, different stages of filtering. I think that was the idea, right, Megha?
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
he thought that
And
he's figured
I
it out.
even noticed that he used his swing car as part of it with that steering. So will he operate it or something?
Yeah, so he wanted to like take it, put it on that, and then bring it to the bed, and that's where he would bottle his water and then go keep it.
Oh, he's bottling it over there.
Yeah. So that was like very exciting for him.
So I think we can conclude with the parents have a certain perspective when it comes to toy, but then the kids look at it very differently, and I think it is very important to strike a balance, between the toys and non-toys. I mean, I'm not saying that you should eliminate the toys, but you should encourage them to play it in different ways. So I think that is definitely going to instill a lot of balance, and they become more explorative. So I guess
And like not limit them that this is how you should be playing with this toy.
yes,
A
yes,
lot of parents do that. Like, look in this the booklet, it's written this is what you should
yes,
be doing.
yes.
I think that's something which.
So I think in the next section we are looking, the how the toys help in building strong bonds with their children. I think this image, I think this is Tanish and his father. So one of the things, in the current world where we live in, so media is everywhere, and you cannot do without it. Kids are exposed, we are exposed, everyone is exposed, and obviously the kid will ask for a certain character, favorite character, and they get into that world very easily. So how do we say as parents or adults, how do we kind of balance it out? So one of the ways is I think getting involved, like being part of their play. If they are liking a certain character, get involved, understand what they're trying to what they like in that character, be part of it, and slowly try to get them out of it as well, so that there is a certain balance, because they don't really because it's very easy for adults to just give a mobile phone, or put a TV show and just let them be. But then I think getting them out of it is also important, because we live in a world of information overload. So I think this is what I think Pradeep was trying to uh, be part of Tanish's explorations, and again taking back to regular activities.
So when we do the journey with them, it's
Yes.
easy to bring them out of it. But if
Yes,
you let
yes,
them be and let them go by themselves, then when you pull them back, it's a lot of chaos.
So,
But
and in this
how
image,
did it work during the pandemic for you guys? Because that's really some really tough times to actually work with the kids, because you're working from home. You also have kids around. So how do you get into that zone in terms of switch between work and uh, playing with kids?
So for me, luckily at that point, I was not working on anything, but it still did take a massive toll on me. Like it was very tiring mentally. No, you because it's a lot. Their energy level and our energy level, there's like a massive difference. So yes, but yeah, it was a very difficult phase. But yeah, with I don't know how Madhu even managed. I have no.
yeah. See, I have a visitor.
They seem to be having fun in the village. You can see Pradeep having quite a lot of fun. That's a lot of role play happening.
Harish, Harish, I would like to introduce Max.
Max, nice.
See, so this is how my life is like.
Nice.
So I have new additions like this, and a cat, and like farm animals. Literally, we
I
are
never
also
think
going the
you
farm
can
around.
handle it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you're talking about media, a lot of animation, motion. So I think one should not restrict, to the TV screens or mobile screens. You can bring in
Absolutely.
that motion. Say this is, I think, very innovative toy by Madhuri. So this is made of potatoes with googly eyes.
Actually,
So
yeah, I took Tanish out to a vegetable market, and we found there were like different forms in potatoes, like really funny looking forms. So he picked those potatoes and then put marker dots on them, and then added googly eyes. So as a parent in this context, what I did was provided material which he can access on his own. So he got this idea, and then later the googly eyes went on to other vegetables also and fruits also. So
I think every time it's a
he's
new
building
toy.
his own. Yeah, every time it's a new toy, and the element is the same, common connector. So as a parent, it's very important for us to create those tools which really makes the bond stronger. And yeah,
Also balance it out. I
yes,
think even in the
yeah,
current
I would.
if
Yeah,
everyone has a mobile phone, and
true.
because that can easily divert the attention, people just give away their mobile phone to the kids. I think that's not a good practice. So I think you yourself, as a parent, if you get involved, and you don't give it as a toy, and you just use it as a tool and be part of it, and then you can I think we go back to the first slide where we it's easier once the parent gets involved. You can also get that particular gadget out of the kids lives, and just maintain a certain balance. So
Very true. I would like to add a point on this image of Karan with his niece. So here, there are two perspectives to it. One is you either give the mobile phone to the child and let the child be engaged. And here, like when you try to take a selfie with the same phone, the tool is the same, but the way we use the tool and engage the child in a proactive way is what a role of an adult or a parent would be like. So I think that's
yeah,
when
I think
this
that
image
will
really resonated well in that regard. Yeah.
it'll create a healthy bonding. I mean, you're not just leaving the kid away and taking making the kid addicted to the gadget, but also keeping that balance. I think the picture says a lot here. It's also the toys can be a tool where you can give a knowledge transfer. Let's say we all have grown up with the bicycles, and it's also a teaching tool where you're talking. You could tell about, let's say, the different textures of soil. It's whether it's wet or, and I think. Madhuri had, she did
Yeah.
not. I think you can tell about the bicycle, the push, how you
Yeah.
just introduced bicycle to Tanish. So, and
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
so
please go on.
yeah. So it's like the thing is that most of the parents they do not know about these, um, processes, as in, like, you may want to give your child first with a push scooter or a balance bicycle, and then move on to a regular bicycle. So I think many do not know. I think getting educated about these things, what
Yes.
stages, what toys should go into to the kid, that's very important. And Madhuri, you can tell about your experience.
Yeah. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks for bringing that up. When I look back at my childhood, like even if any of us look back at our childhood, always we all had a great fall before we started balancing. Mostly, like 95%, this would be the truth. But in this, but me being a toy designer and being exposed to the cycling industry, and now bringing up the child, so I understand the importance of each vehicle, like when that should be given. Like in case of Tanish, I didn't give him the bicycle directly, but rather there is a transition. Many of us do get tricycles, but what happens is we miss one step. Like the child, most of the children know pedaling, but they don't know how to control balancing. So in case of Tanish, we first gave a swing car where he could actually, thanks to one of my close friends who suggested that. Actually, Vinodini suggested that Harish to me. So it was one of his most favorite toys. I literally bought two swing cars for Tanish, and like one will be in village, one will be in Chennai when I was in Chennai with that location. So after swing car, we introduced, like I insisted that we get a balance bicycle. It was a little expensive than a regular bicycle, literally, and it was very difficult back then to get a balance bicycle Very few players had that. So finally, I managed to get one. And everybody in the family was like, it's just a waste of money. We could directly get a bicycle. Why do you overdo this? Like, sometimes parents should be little picky. It's okay in terms of toys, because this is a classic example which I'll be telling next what happened. So Tanish knew how to maneuver with the swing car when he was 1.5 year onwards. He started learning that skill, and he picked it up by 2.5 in a very confident way. And second thing about balancing, the balance bicycle was introduced to him when he was close to 3. So 3 to 4 onwards, he was very comfortable balancing on the bicycle. And then we got him this cycle which you're seeing in this image. It was given initially with 2 trainer wheels, and later after 6 months we removed one trainer wheel. And the image, this is when Tanish was 5 year old, like 5.5 year old. This is during the pandemic beginning. In the mid, this was taken some 8 months back, also 6, 7 months back actually. So he started riding this bicycle, and suddenly we missed the other trainer wheel. He insisted that, can you please add the other trainer wheel suddenly. Then I realized the toy designer and the cycling designer who was into cycling area awoke in me. And then I was like, hey, he knows balancing, he knows maneuvering, he knows pedaling on a tricycle. What is stopping him from using 2 trainer wheels? Let's just get this trainer wheel business out. So I just told my husband to remove the trainer wheels, and I just went to do some other task at my office friend. After half an hour, I come back, and then a magic happened. This kid is cycling, and he is not just cycling, but he is braking. He is taking a turn and stopping right in front of me with a confident handlebar in his, with a confident hand on his brake. So this was an overwhelming experience for me to see me being a toy designer and a parent of a child, and me being into cycling industry. So
That's very interesting. I wanted to point out one thing on this. We've got the last 10 minutes in hand. How important is for parents to know when to buy a toy and what toys to buy? Because that seems to be a quite an interesting aspect. Of course, the industry lures parents into buying all kinds of toys. Now, you guys have been into designing toys. Now, how does the market actually look at it? Does it design for parents to choose those toys, or does it design for kids to select the toys and then convince their parents to buy those toys?
I think Karan can answer this.
No, I think there's no formal rule as such. It works both the ways, and again, it depends on the parents. And most of the time, when we design toys, I think it's market driven, because we are working, for the company, the profit of the company. So, but having said that, I think there's also enough. I think that we lack where we educate the parents that, okay, this is the right toy for the. Because I think if you probably
there is a huge gap.
Yeah, I think if you look at the Western countries, it's a little different, because they would always start with this, with a if you're gifting a cycle or something, they would start age appropriate cycles, balance bicycle, and then finally. So, but India, it's lacking a bit, but I'm sure eventually, these things will fall in place. But yes, I think there's very less material on educating the parents. I think that is something a parent should invest on, so, because it's not just about buying a random toy and gifting it, because it happens many times, because I think the cost also dictates, and you end up gifting inappropriate toy, and which is not age appropriate. It also happens. So I think, it's about the knowledge. I think the parents, even the toy industry should push that, I believe. Appropriate the right toys for the right age.
Okay, toys are primarily for the kids. I understand that part. Has toys ever made you better parents? Have you thought of that? Has any of these toys the way the kids have actually played or used it?
Some open-ended toys, of course, like like the evergreen Lego and all of it. Where you feel content. Yes, I made the right choice. But other toys, a lot of times I would say it's just that instinct where you're at the toy shop and the kid is like, I want that toy, and you're like, okay, fine, I'll get it for you this time. But it's 5 minutes where you feel that okay, you've done the right choice. After that, it's over. If you like even keep it in the shelf, they won't even remember to ask for it again. So yeah.
I've realized there's this random fight, kind of building block kind of thing that happens. There's one that we bought and he never played with it for almost 3-4 weeks. He would try and then he would just leave it. And then for one fine day, he started working on all those things. He poured water into it. He got water onto the other side. He kind of understood how pipes are working. He came, lots of questions after that. I think around 4-5 years, they start asking a lot of questions, and I think that's where toys kind of provoke their creativity as well in some ways. Um, very, very interesting directions. We'll also look at the other slides.
So I think the third stage we're talking about how important playing is, for a child, so that their learning improves, their understanding of things around or the world, improves just by playing. We have a couple of examples here. One is Vedant. I think Megha, you can explain this. What he's trying to do.
This was that day at school. There was some construction work happening, so after school he stood there for like 20 minutes and he kept looking at how they are going about it, mixing the cement and then putting the brick and putting the cement, and that whole process. He saw that process happening like 3-4 times, and that day evening at the park he just like replicated the same thing, and he was so excited and proud about what he was doing. But like when you look at it, you'll be like, what, it's just some sand and stones. But for him, his satisfaction was so much more. So yeah, this is more like the open-ended toys kind of thing, which I think
also I think the observation,
yeah,
the power of letting your kid observe, exposure to different things around the surroundings. I think it really triggers their imagination.
yes. So that was like so yeah, I what happened is when I looked at this whole thing, I was like, I wish there were many more toys which were like this, as abstract as this. They don't have to be very specific. And yes, so that was what came into my head as well, that I wish they designed much more abstract toys. Yes, Madhuri, you
Yeah,
could.
about the image on the right. This is the pumpkin which Tanish actually planted the seed and then saw the pumpkin patch grow, and then saw the pumpkin from a small flower to a big pumpkin. He observed it from, thanks to the pandemic, he could get that much time to observe it every day, water it, and see it grow. So once it was harvested, he wanted to carve it out. And surprisingly, he was so obsessed, he started hugging the pumpkin because he felt it was his own thing. And it was so huge that he thought he can even sit on it. And like, this is something which I as a parent could never imagine. Like something we will not think like, as an adult, we'll never think about this kind of dimension altogether. And then the next level, he wanted to match with the pumpkin, so he insisted he'll wear the pumpkin colored, like a orange sweatshirt. And then he wanted to eat something orange. So I never knew that children can do color coordinating activity this way. So it was overwhelming for me as a mom who is a toy designer. Just wanted to capture this moment and thought I'll share this. Yeah, you can.
Here,
This is, I think, the pandemic, right? So around
the
this period.
bicycle
Yes,
one.
yes.
So what happened here was, you come to a point where you're so irritated that you just want to put away all the toys because you're like tired of, putting them back into the shelf and all of it. So we just gave them these bicycles and we said, this is it, you play with this, you cycle around the house and that's about it. And then they came up with this, they put it together in some way or the other, and then they imagined it to be an airplane. And Vedant is like, he's the pilot, and this other guy sitting behind is the traveler, and they had so much fun. The cycle and their scooters and all of it, they just like somehow put them all together. And so it was nice to let them be and not be very specific that, hello, your cycle will break if this is how you keep it, or you're supposed to only ride it. So that ways, yeah, this sparked a lot of creativity and all of that, and a lot of fun, which a lot of parents miss, I feel.
I think with the toys, you need to let them be,
Yeah.
let them explore. I think we talked about it previously also, like, we didn't tell them, okay, use it a certain way. So I think that's what I think in the other picture, what Tanish is experiencing is just lying on this, it's a brook or something, I guess.
Yeah, it's a stream. It's a water stream. So
Okay.
it's just lying on the sand and pebbles, just like that.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful.
he refused to wake up. Yeah.
I've come to understand as designers, you buy less toys, compared to the rest of them. So do I.
No.
No,
I don't think
We
so.
buy a lot of toys, Harish. We buy a lot of toys.
It says that you are particular
Yes, we are very particular about what we use.
We bought a lot of toys and realized only very few work. So we really hope that there are more of those very few type of toys.
Also, what to buy at what stage? You would not buy something that's not age appropriate. So I think also, again, taking forward the let it be, let things be the way they are. I think one needs to encourage, keep it medium independent. Immediately sometimes you just give a book and a crayon to the kid and start drawing, but that may not be the right interaction. I think it should be more.
I guess the discussion of toys for us is also limited between the age of 4 to 8 years right now.
Yes.
The kind of toys changes drastically after 9-10 years old. Wonderful. Today's it was really, really interesting to look at your perspective of how you looked at toys and how kids have made you relook at how toys work, what kind of toys work as well. I think that's a really important insight. The industry will take one, and other parents can also probably benefit from the perspective that you'd given today. Very interesting. Thank you very much. Wonderful sharing your experiences of learning, engaging with your kids, and with the toys and the decisions that you make with the toys along with your kids as well. Thank you very much for the amazing time that you spent with us and sharing your experiences. Yeah. Thank you, Karan. Thank you, Madhuri. Thank you,
Harish.
Megha.
Thank you, Harish.
Yeah. Over to Raida, if
Okay, hi, and thank you so much, Megha, Madhuri, Karan, and Harish, for highlighting the role of space and environment in a child's life. Your personal stories as parents have given us real-world insights into children's engagement with their toys and also with the people and objects around them, which helps them develop the imagination and fuels their curiosity, making them creative problem solvers. These are stories we all witness with the kids in our families, and you all pointed out effectively how parents could use these to inculcate a sense of responsibility and ownership in kids and also learn from the kids. So thank you so much for that very insightful session, and have a nice evening.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you all.